Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come in, come in, come in. So you guys, this is Tamika's Den. I am Tamika. All right, get on in here, everybody. This is 61st Street. All right, I'm doing a review and recap of season 1, episode 4. And the name of this episode was Chess Moves and Poker Chips. All right, and we started out this episode kind of seeing like side by side of Franklin and Moses, right? We're seeing Moses going in, getting transferred into prison. We're seeing, that these guards are looking at him. Of course, one of the guards is saying to him, I see you, boy. When you thought of as a cop killer, we already know what's going on with that. And then we see Franklin going to the hospital at the same time to do looks like a MRI and get some tests done. We have a black guard that's telling Moses, it's always hard the first time, okay? And so Moses enters his cell and you have one guy coming over acting like, oh, it's not what you think it is. When you locked up, it's not that way, like they have it on TV, and acting like he's trying to be his friend. And so in the midst of him walking out, this guy comes and basically takes his toilet tissue, towels, and everything that they just gave him. He's saying, hey, that's my stuff. You got the other guys looking and laughing. And he's like, really, is your stuff? What you gonna do? Okay, take it if it's yours. And basically, he has a shank that he done made, so it's not nothing that Moses could do. Okay, so he's already off to a bad start. You have this other guy coming over talking about, he could help him out and everything like that. And Moses is not here for it, okay? He say he's not a part of no gangs. He's not a part of no Islam. He never been a gangbanger. He not into none of that. He don't want no help. He just want to be left to his own. He will make it through, And so, Franklin was asking them if he could go ahead and like get an update on what they see so far, and they was like, no, the doctor will call you with your results. And we see him break down and crying or whatever, right? And so after that, he leaves from the doctor and he goes and sees Moses or whatever the case may be, right? And he says to him, you told me that you don't feel guilty, right? And he was asking him why did he run, and Franklin was basically explaining to him his fear, right? And that he had heard about or saw what happened with, Laquan McDonald. And so basically Franklin is saying to him, you asked if law and justice is the same. You just answered your own question, okay? And that answer is no, right? And so in the meantime, you have Tutu mothers going into the precinct to find out why they killed her son. She's going off at the desk or whatever the case may be. And the sergeant then comes and sees her and says that she could come inside his office and he will explain to her what happened with her son, right? And so when they come inside, basically, he's like, I'm Lieutenant Branahan. He's like, I could tell you everything that you want to know what happened to your son and why. And he tells him that, he was out there and he had a gun pointed at, the cop, that he was a drug dealer on the street corner, whatever the case may be, and a known street gang, okay, the Nation street game or whatever the case may be. And so she was like, please, there be guys out there selling dope all hours of the night and whatever. None of them is getting shot. Only my son got shot, okay? Why him? And he tells her that he had his weapon raised, okay? He was trying to shoot a cop. They yelled and ordered for him to drop it and he didn't. And so therefore that's why he got shot, and it was basically justified. He was shot in order to protect the police officers. And he tells her he's sorry for her loss. Now, we do know that Tutu did have his gun raised, right? And I also find it interesting that of all people, to be by her side, whether it was at the funeral and now again here at the precinct, is actually Franklin's mother, with her having her own, Moses' mother, with everything that she has going on. She's still taking the time out to try to give support to this mother. And the funny thing about it is that when he had the gun raised, he actually had just finished, kind of coming at Moses and basically being like, you think you all of that because you this runner and this, that, and the third. And, then he was pointing the gun up to basically be like, so since you like to run and you could run all fast and all of that, that's what you known for. You going to go ahead and run now. We going to see how fast you going to run. And he was pointing the gun up, counting down like they do when people are going to have races, and saying, doing the countdown in order for him to go ahead and shoot up for Moses to start running. But he's making it seem like if they knew the cops was there and he was pointing at the cops and the cops was like, drop it. They never said drop it. All we seen was bullets start flying and Tutu behind was down. So that part of the story he's lying about. But of course, just the fact that Tutu had the gun, he could spin the story any way he wanted to. So he was like, I'm guessing you want to know who shot him. And she was like, yeah. And basically he says it was him, right? He was like, your answer, your question is basically who shot my son. So he was like, it was me. And so I'm like, yeah, okay, Sergeant, whatever, and he was like, I'm sorry that he had to go or whatever the case may be, but if I had to do it again, I would. So he's basically walking them out, and Moses' mom says to him, like, if you think it's going to be that easy, it's not. And he tells her, no, it's not easy. Nothing about this is easy. He basically says, excuse me, y'all, I'm sorry. Sorry, y'all. So he basically tells her that it's not nothing easy about this and that Tutu was a snitch, okay? And he was like, he was able to get, a victim's funeral and have protection, and he could understand the mother's grief and the mother's pride. But if this gets found out, okay, because she keeps snooping her nose in and playing around, then he don't know. He might not be able to hold that information back, and everybody would know that Tutu is a snitch. And y'all already know how that goes. And then he basically asked her, do she understand what he's saying? And so I'm like, this sergeant is real slick, right? And lieutenant, whatever he is. And so then he go walking off or whatever, right? And so Moses' mom is trying to go to jail to see him, but as she's sitting there in the waiting room, some other guy comes out, and I'm like, who the heck is this? So she's upset. She keeps yelling like, I asked to see Moses Johnson. I said I was coming here for Moses Johnson. What is this? Okay, and they ain't paying her no mind, so I guess, excuse me, Daddy must really have a whole lot of pull. And so he telling her to pick up the phone, and he start to tell her how, Moses is not listening, right? He's trying to basically be a man of his own and stand by himself, and that he's extending him this olive branch. Mind you, she's basically like, why are you here? I don't want to talk to you. And she's like, you done been in about 6-7 times or whatever the case may be. He's basically a lifetime criminal. We found out that this is her sons, both of them their father, and they never been there. How many times have you been gone already? She's asking him, or whatever the case may be. And then he's telling her how she's still mad, she's still angry. She must still have feelings if she could still be angry for this long and all this other stuff. And she's telling him it's never been about the boys, with him. He's telling her he never stopped caring about the family. So he was like, Moses thinks he's a grown man now and he's making his own decisions or whatever the case may be. And that's when he starts to tell her about this so-called olive branch that he extended. So she was like, you mean to tell me you sent one of your soldiers to him? So come to find out, the whole jail interaction is coming, behind him, from him. And he telling her about how he's a part of the nation and the nation is a part of him. And she was like, yeah, but you a damn father first, okay, before anything. Like, are you freaking kidding me right now? And so basically she was like, and you expect me to do what? To talk to him and tell him, that he's supposed to come and do whatever you want him to do and be down with you? She was like, hell no, I'll never do that, okay? You could wait on that one. You want me to advise him to join the life that basically put you in here? So she was like, no, goodbye. And she was like, that's what you call being a parent and loving him, whatever the case may be, wanting him to join a damn game? So he just was sitting there, looking at her like she was crazy. And she basically said, F you, and went on about her business. So in the meantime, we see that this guy that Moses knows comes up to him, and he's saying hi, and he's like, yo, what's good? And, starting to tell all the prisoners how Moses is the fastest man and how he saw him on the news and he giving him a shout out. So right away, he starts putting out these bets talking about, he bets that Moses could beat this other guy in a race, right? And the guys is basically like, yeah, and we want our money when you lose. So they go ahead and do this race. And at first Moses was kind of falling them behind. But then, of course, Moses kicks this guy behind and beats him in the race. Well, honey child, the guy proceeds to beat Moses, okay? And then this is also done from the father, okay? We see the guy basically giving a head nod, or his father, I should say, giving a head nod to the other guy for him, going ahead and doing this. And it's like, really, you want to have your son beat up? Like, ugh, disgusting. And so, of course, Moses calls, Franklin, and he comes to the court to check on him. So since he's going to the court to check on him, he ends up sending his son a text that's like, I'm running late, so you know how to go ahead and do the plan right, because he was teaching him how to ride the subway and what he got to do. And so David says he got it, yes, he can do it. And so you have another, must be neighbor or somebody that's familiar with him, asked, do he need a ride? And he's like, no, I know what to do. And so he goes to get on the daggone train, y'all, and didn't realize he dropped his phone because he busy listening to his music from his iPod. He getting down, enjoying the music or whatever the case may be. Don't even know he dropped his phone. You got the other people on the train, smiling at him while he's doing his dance. And he don't even realize that the conductor done said that the train is being rerouted because of police activity in the subway. So now it wasn't going to his stop. It was going to another stop, Garfield. And so I'm like, oh, Lord David, because, he have autism or whatever the case may be. And it took them a long time just to be able to teach them, teach him this way. And he not going to have the phone to call them now to let them know what's going on. We have, Martha, his wife, basically about to get ready for this other speech. Of course, they're talking about how they call her Barefoot Martha, and she's making all these headlines for giving her speeches with, nothing wrong, nothing on her feet, I should say. And they talking about, maybe her being known as somebody that's coming with the wrong message. In the meantime that's going on, we have Franklin just trying to talk to Moses, check on him and encourage him, because right now he's really down, and he's actually telling, Franklin at one point, like, stop being nice to me, stop trying to beat me in my head and, make things seem a certain way, because basically he is just really upset right now, right? And so Moses does ask Franklin as he's about to leave, how did they know how to come get me or where to come get me? And he was like, oh, well, I guess they followed me, right? And it's funny that none of them thought of this before. And he was like, yeah, but how did he know to follow you? How did they know to follow you? So once he says that, Franklin goes and starts tearing up the daggone house, basically looking for the bug, and finds the bug inside the freaking chair in the house, y'all. Okay, so now they know that they was bugging them. And excuse me, y'all. And he starts to say inside the bug, they're going for the maximum life without parole. And he was like, we gonna go big, okay? We gonna go real big. And then he breaks the device. Now, Joshua, I don't know why the hell this makes Joshua want to go out and do something stupid. Every time he hears something, it's something just triggers in his brain. Let me go do something stupid. He goes out there to the same damn guys, basically trying to set up. So I guess, go sell drugs with them now, whatever the case may be. And Tutu mother's watching the whole time and basically sees him. So I'm thinking that she's going to go and tell his mother about it, right? And so, Moses gets told again by the guys from the jail that they're going to be coming for his ass. So he better go ahead and do what he got to do, you know what I'm saying? And it's going to be problems if he don't. You still got David just running around, outside. He's scared as hell because now he done counted down, went down the stairs, realized that this doesn't look nothing like his neighborhood. For the amount of steps that he counted, he should have been at his house. But of course, he's not at his house. He ends up hiding in the alley. It's like when he sees the police, he's scared. When he sees some other boys, he's scared. So every time he comes out, he ends up ducking right back in and hiding in this alley. And I'm like, oh my God, when are they going to find him? Okay. And so in the meantime, you got the damn lieutenant riding around with Logan or whatever, and he's asking him about, do he know how to play poker, and he also seen these guys doing this drumming in the middle of the street, and he was like, they blocking traffic and this and that, but at the same time, they not hurting nobody. It's a victimless crime. I gotta sit there 45 seconds, and he provides entertainment. And so, Logan is basically saying it's the American way, or whatever the case may be. And the lieutenant is laughing, and when he asked him, was he a good poker player, he basically was like, I could kind of hold a hand or two. So he was like, that's exactly what a poker player would say. And so I was confused because, 1 minute he talking about that's a player's answer, and he had already told him that, they play poker every Wednesday. The next minute he talking about, well, I got to handle something on this block over, and he diverts in terms to go in another direction. And so when they get to where he supposedly got to go, is a dice game going on. He breaks that up, finds a gun on one of the guys. He making them all put their hands up on the wall, asking whose money it is, and they all saying they don't know, who money it is. Well, they wasn't even really answering at all. And so he's telling him he could get a felony for the gun, and he basically ends up letting all the other guys leave. And then the one guy that was left that had the gun on him, he was like, now do you want to answer me and tell me whose gun this is? Because he was like, the money is not no big deal, or whatever the case may be, but like I said, this gun is a felony. And so the guy says, what gun? I guess the gun is whoever's money is on the ground. And so the lieutenant gonna talk about, good answer, go ahead, smart man, I'm letting you go this time with a warning, you lucky, that was the right answer. So he basically takes the cuffs off of him, puts the gun in his back pocket, and proceeds to pick up the money, and then splitting the money with Logan. And Logan is just looking down at it, and he's like, is everything okay? And he's like, yeah. And so, we have it nighttime, y'all. I don't know how many hours done went past that poor David is still out here in the street. He tries to get up and walk again, and when he's standing in the middle of the street, this freaking lady, looking out her window, sees him and decides to call the damn cops. And so, you have Logan. Every time we see Logan drinking like nobody business. I don't know if Logan was an alcoholic before, but at this point, Logan is becoming an alcoholic. And he's sitting outside of, Michael's house, and then he ends up going in and talking with her, the wife, and still having a damn drink. And so she's some kind of way talking about how, she looks for his shirts and put it on so she could still have his smell and all of this stuff. And she was like, you don't have nobody in your life like that. So he was like, yeah, no, he don't. She get up and walking over to him talking about, smell this. And they look like they was getting a little close for comfort. I was like, well, what's going on here, Logan? I know you ain't about to sleep with Michael's wife, okay? But then it seemed like they caught themselves, and she was telling him he could go ahead and lay down on Michael's chair that he have in the den. And so, of course, with him being there and her saying he could spend the night, he go in the damn office that we seen him in before, and he's searching, and he does find something underneath the drawer, that's there in the house, okay? And apparently this is another freaking bug that he had there, recording, where the same type of situation that happened with Logan with the dice game, he was actually the lieutenant is on tape asking Michael, if he would be down with something like that. And Michael was telling him no. So Logan now knows that basically he got put into a situation where he fell for the okie doke. And now it's like, he would be incriminating himself too, because he took the half of the daggone money, right? And so in the meantime, you got Joshua getting dressed to go out. His mother thinking that he going out, with some girl or whatever, and she's telling him he could go ahead and just stay home. She's also getting on him for having his pants hanging, whatever. And he's like, pick your pants up, and he talking about, Ma, come on. So nonetheless, he ain't going to meet no girl. He going to hook up with these damn guys. He going to freaking become a part of the game, the same game she been trying to keep him away from, the same guy that she cursed out and told to stay away from her son. He tells him to go get in this guy car, that he's the one that's the leader. The guy basically starts driving off, and he put his seatbelt on, or whatever the case may be. And they go ahead to go. So the guy's asking him about his father, and he's like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? To be honest, we don't really speak like that. I haven't heard from him in a long time. And bottom line, the guy's letting him know, like, regardless, that's your father, yeah, you know what I'm saying? He was a real dude, and he's been out in the streets for a long time and all of that kind of stuff. But if you get into this, you got to handle your business regardless of who your daddy is, okay? If paper or work comes up missing, you got to be held accountable, all right? So in other words, whether that's your daddy or not, you get your behind beat or you get killed. You got it? And he's like, yeah, I got you. And so in the midst of, getting back to Logan in the office, listening to this damn recording or whatever have you, he found it taped up underneath the desk and he starts to play it. And like I said, it's basically saying, that the coppers got their panties in a brunch because of a hint about impropriety. And he was like, would you ever bust up, a dice game and pocket the money? And so, like I said, Michael said no, that he wouldn't do that. So right now, Logan is feeling like crap because it's like ding dong, the light bell goes off and he realizes what happened. And so, here come the wife coming in talking about that's him on the, recording that you was listening to. That's Michael's voice. Let me hear it. I want to hear it. I want to hear it. I'm saying, miss, listen, I know you got some other damn recordings, okay? You don't need to hear this one because this one is a police situation. So, something that could put you in danger. And of course, this is what Logan is telling her. He's like, no, this is not something that you need to hear. She was like, well, you was just finished hearing it, okay? So if you can hear it, I can hear it. And he's like, no, this is something that could be life-threatening. There are consequences, okay? And meanwhile, she going, play me the tape, play me the tape, play me the tape. So, you have Martha here at this church giving this speech. And all I'm thinking is, oh, Lord, Martha still ain't go home. Because at first I'm thinking she probably was still calling David's phone. Or the father's looking for David. Somebody know David ain't there, child. I need y'all to protect David and get David home at all costs. Excuse me. But she's in the middle of talking about how, it's a declaration of war with the cops and all of that. And that, they need to make these changes. The same time that this is happening, they are pulling up on her son and saying, get your hands up, get your hands up, don't move, get your hands up. Got they freaking guns drawn. He's basically sitting slow like his father told him to do and counting. And I'm saying, please let them see that it's something wrong with him. But he has autism. Let them be able to see this. Please, God. Okay, because we know how some of these freaking people could be. And so at the same time this mother's giving a speech, you got two mothers standing up saying, can I ask you a question? My son, he's dead. And ain't nobody asking why. And Martha tells her, no, you're wrong. Okay, I'm asking why. And she was like, first of all, you are wording it wrong. And that's the first thing we need to do is learn how to word these things. Your son wasn't killed. He was murdered. Okay, and there's a difference. And she was like, we have to, like I said, start using the right words for what they're doing to us. And they've been doing it for a long time. And she was like, I want to do something about that. That's exactly why I'm running. She was like, this America, should be ashamed of what they've been doing. And she was like, everybody, this is Janet Porter. Okay, she let her know that she know who she is. And so everybody in the church started clapping and she asked her would she come up there with her. And then she did come on up there, to where she was standing. And she basically took her hands and was letting her know, I am working for the mothers that's like you. I'm working for your boy. I'm working for my boy. What happened to you and your son, that was horrible. It shouldn't have never been where something like that could happen. And she was like, this is why I do what I do, And so, you had the mother up there crying and you had them embrace. And she was like, please know that. So in the midst of her, saying this, the freaking assistant of hers gets a message. We don't hear what she's saying to her. Okay, Martha goes running out and everybody's looking. In the meantime, we got Joshua riding in the car with, this new boss that he meeting with. And he's basically saying to him, this is Victor Simmons, a ranking member of the faction. And they looking at these people that's, trading stuff through the car window. And so Joshua was like, I see this. He was like, I know that guy. You know what I'm saying? He was like, I know that guy. He's a cop. And so the guy's like, cop, So here he putting him onto something. And he was like, oh, the faction is in bed with Bennigan or whatever the case may be. So the guy tells him, like, we're going to put a bullet in both of them. Maybe the same bullet. So now here Joshua going to be caught up in more damn mess. Because now he's knowing that Bennigan is in the mix of the faction. And of course he's mad at Bennigan for what happened with his brother. And I'm like, Joshua, These freaking kids, man, run your blood pressure up. So Franklin's getting home and he's seeing all these cop cars outside his house. You know what I'm saying? Of course, he's scared to death. He's trying to figure out what the hell is going on. He coming in the house and we don't know what happened, y'all. I'm like, where's David? What is going on? Don't tell me they shot David, y'all. Okay? And all we see is the cops standing in the house and Martha sitting down and she just looking with this, you know, worried and stressed out look on her freaking face and looking at him. And he's looking scared as hell to hear, you know what I'm saying, what the hell happened. And they don't tell us. That's how the freaking episode goes off, y'all. So I don't know, but I hope David is okay. I really, really do. I'm sorry, that would just hurt me so bad if they did something to that boy. But you guys tell me what you thinking about 61st Street so far. Did you like this episode? Not like it? What are you feeling about Joshua? What are you feeling about Moses and what his father is trying to do? You know, put it all in the comments, y'all. Okay, let's discuss. Until next time, Tulu. Oh, like, comment, share, subscribe. Okay, Tulu.